Classic rides closing, new rides in the works, and lots of seasonal events you won't want to miss. Today's Ultimate Disney California Adventure Guide for 2025 is going to blow your mind. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. We are back on the West Coast today for some good old DCA fun. Disney California Adventure is the neighboring park to Disneyland. And by neighboring, I mean that literally. You can walk from one park gate over to the other park gate in less than a minute, which makes park hopping over here super easy. But that's not all I want to talk about when it comes to DCA. There is tons to do at this park, and we've only got so much time to unpack it all, so let's jump right in and go. We did it in the Ultimate Guide to Disneyland, so let's play it again for the Ultimate Guide to DCA. In case you haven't gotten the chance to watch our Ultimate Guide to Disneyland in 2025 video yet, that's okay. I'll quickly explain the rules of this game because you, my friend, will be playing along and competing against your family. I'll be showing you a super zoomed in shot of a certain section inside DCA. If you can name that land without my helpful clues, give yourself 3 points. However, if you can name it after I give you 3 helpful hints regarding the details of that park section, you get 1 point. And if you still don't guess it after that, well, that's no points, but you still win the gift of new knowledge. And really, is there a better prize than that? Okay, got your pen and paper ready? Let's start with round 1. Here's your first zoomed in shot. Pause the video if you need some time to eyeball it. Otherwise, I'll get on with the clues. Clue number 1, this land greets you with a storyteller's statue featuring Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse. Clue number 2, there's actually an attraction closing here next year that nobody's talking about. And clue number 3, you can meet Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy here, all dressed up in their dapper-looking 1930s themed attire. Kinda tricky, but this is Buena Vista Street, aka the first land you're gonna step foot into when entering the park. So, wait a minute. There's an attraction closing here? Yes, wild stuff. The red car trolley features 2 replicas of Pacific Electric trolley cars, similar to the ones you might have seen in Southern California in the 1900s through the 1960s. These trolleys are often running up and down the street, carrying guests to multiple locations inside the park, but alas, the red car trolley is set to close on February 8th, 2025, to make way for the Avengers Campus expansion that we'll be talking more about later on. Now, this is actually super sad for me personally because my little boy, when he was a toddler, actually got to be the first person to ride the trolley one day, and he got a little pair of Mickey ears that said honorary mayor of Buena Vista Street, and we got to ride the trolley all by ourselves, and it was so fancy. So another memorable adventure going by the wayside, but alas, change is always imminent when it comes to Disney parks. All right, time for round number 2. Here's your next zoomed in picture. Pause if you need more time, but if you don't, let's get on with the clues. Clue number 1, this land opened on June 4th, 2021. Clue number 2, around Halloween, this land has a ride that becomes a different ride at night. And clue number 3, this land is indirectly responsible for the death of the red car trolley. Sorry, I think that last clue probably gave it away. This is Avengers Campus. Lots of things are getting ready to happen in Avengers Campus that I'm really excited to dig into once our game wraps up. But as far as that whole Halloween overlay I just mentioned, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout gets the Jekyll Hyde treatment around spooky season. By day, the ride remains the same as always, but by night, it transforms into Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark, which is a little more intense and might be too scary for some kids out there, or some AJs out there. Yeah, AJs don't like it either. Typically, the regular attraction shuts down at about 4 p.m. so that the necessary changes can be made. Then it reopens as Monsters After Dark by 5 p.m., or as soon as it's ready. If you knew the answer to this before I told you, give yourself an extra point, and if you think you'd be brave enough to take on Monsters After Dark, give yourself an extra 2 points. Round 3, fight. Okay, no fighting. Just take a look at this picture and guess where it's located in the park. Clue number 1, this land gets a Halloween and Christmas overlay each year. Clue number 2, the big ride in this area is the only ride that you can purchase a single pass lightning lane for. And clue number 3, you're going to want to see this place by day and by night. This might have been an easier one for you if you're somewhat familiar with DCA already, because of course this is Cars Land. You know, like that one song, this land is your land, this land is Cars Land, right? Okay, Bria's really happy when she gets me to sing. Okay, Radiator Springs Racers is the only ride you need to worry about paying a single pass lightning lane for, with average lightning lane prices typically costing about $7 to $18 per person per ride through. But why should you plan on coming back here at night if you've already visited during the day? Well, each evening, the neon lights of this small town flicker to life, starting from the courthouse and moving up Route 66. To watch this full progression, try standing towards the entrance of the land, near Sarge's Surplus gift shop or by Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. And while you're here, pay extra close attention to the traffic light hanging above the street. If you really watch carefully, you'll notice that every third blink of the yellow light is slightly slower. And if you've watched the first Cars movie recently, then you'll realize just how funny this tiny yet significant detail really is. So round 3 was too easy. Let's try round 4. Look at that picture. Ain't she a beaut, Clark? Clue number 1, this section has a ride that also has a seasonal overlay. Clue number 2, if your kids are bored standing in line for rides, there's an area over here that's perfect for them to blow off some steam. And clue number 3, the theming of this land is inspired by national parks in the Golden State circa the 1950s. This is one of my favorite parts of DCA. It's Grizzly Peak. Grizzly Peak is honestly so beautiful. The ambiance is so nice, and this section usually isn't as crowded as some of the others. During DCA's Food and Wine Festival, which we'll talk about later on, you can experience a different version of the Soarin' Around the World ride called Soarin' Over California, which was actually the OG version of Soarin' before its Around the World replacement came around in 2016. But what was that area I was talking about just a second ago? The one where kids can blow off steam minus the uber long ride lines? Well, that's the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, which is a huge interactive experience that includes lookout towers and bridges and wilderness-themed obstacle courses for kids of all ages to explore. I love this place. Oh, and don't forget to check out Kenai's Spirit Cave while you're here. Inside this cave, you can place your hand on the glowing paw print and discover your inner animal. If you know your inner animal already, give yourself 2 extra points. I, for one, am probably like an otter or a platypus. I don't know, something maybe cute but a little clumsy. You've made it to round 5. Okay, this one might be a tricky one too. How's about some clues to help you out? Clue number 1, if you're swelteringly hot, you'll want to come here for sweet AC and tons of indoor Disney attractions. Clue number 2, one of the rides currently here replaced an opening day attraction that, well, was not super well received, to put it nicely. And clue number 3, you can take a sketch class here with a professional Disney artist and keep the masterpiece you create as a free souvenir. So where on earth are we? This land is Hollywoodland. Just take a left at the end of Buena Vista Street and you can't miss it. In Hollywoodland, you'll find Monsters Inc., Mike and Sully to the Rescue, which replaced the former Superstar Limo attraction that wasn't even open for a full year before it closed up shop back in 2002. But if you want to learn more about what happened there, you'll want to check out our 20 Disney rides that had to close and why video to take that trip down memory lane. But for now, on to round 6. Picture zoom initiated. Intrigued? Just you wait. Clue number 1. This area is technically a mashup of 2 cities. Clue number 2. We were kind of worried about the announcement of this new land because we didn't want it to take away the classic snacks that were already established here. But thankfully, it didn't. And clue number 3, one word: bread. So much incredible bread. I know, I'm excited to reveal this one too because this land is San Francisco Square. San Francisco replaced DCA's Pacific Wharf area back in 2023 to bring the world of Big Hero 6 to life, and you could even meet Baymax here. But despite that major change, you can still order a lot of the classic Pacific Wharf snacks here, along with taking a tour through a working replica of San Francisco's Boudin Bakery to see how their famous sourdough bread is made. And you might be able to sample some for yourself too if you time your visit right. What makes this section even better? The nearby Boudin bread cart sells Baymax-shaped bread. I repeat, Baymax-shaped bread is here. Why are we not all there right now? Okay, friends, we're almost to the end here, so let's make things interesting and double the points for these final rounds. 6 points if you can guess a land by its picture alone, 2 if you can guess it after the clues. So here we go, round 7. This one's tricky, so don't forget to pause if you need more time to mull over the answer. Clue number 1, the attractions here are extra kid-friendly and reminiscent of classic amusement park attractions. Clue number 2, there's a virtual queue available for an attraction here that many folks don't know about. And clue number 3, while there are 5 rides here, only 1 has Lightning Lane eligibility. Got your answer locked in? This land is Paradise Garden Park. Paradise Garden Park is where you can watch DCA's nighttime spectacular, World of Color 1. And while you don't have to have one in order to see the show, World of Color does have a virtual queue whenever the show is offered, which opens right at noon via the Disneyland app. This virtual queue will guarantee you a better spot to see the performance in a roped-off section right next to Paradise Bay, World of Color's watery main stage. As far as those lightning lanes are concerned, while Paradise Garden Park is the home of several different carnival-style rides, the only one that has a lightning lane available through multi-pass purchase is Goofy Sky School. Final round, everyone. Make this one really count. Here's your picture, lovely as always. And here are your clues. Clue number 1, much like San Francisco Square, this section also replaced a previous section of DCA back in 2018. Clue number 2, some say this area of the park has the scariest Disney ride of all time. And clue number 3, I already know this clue is going to be the answer away, even if it wasn't already obvious from the process of elimination. But this land is made up of 4 neighborhoods: Incredibles Park, Inside Out Headquarters, Toy Story Boardwalk, and Pixar Promenade. Ready? Say the answer with me. This is Pixar Pier. This replaced the old Paradise Pier to give this section of the park a colorful remodel featuring those fan-favorite Pixar stories we've come to know and love over the years. But even with the retheme, Pixar Pier continues to be the keeper of a ride that those with a fear of heights are going to want to skip out on, and that's the Pixar Pal-Around. No matter which gondola you choose aboard the famous DCA Ferris wheel, you're going to end up going round in a circle to get high up aerial views across the entire park. It's beautiful. And this is where the ride similarities end, because now you have to decide what kind of Pixar Pal-Around experience you want. The non-swinging gondolas will give you a typical Ferris wheel experience. Still terrifying, still very high up, while the swinging ones will make you feel like your life is flashing before your eyes. I'm only partially kidding. Many folks love the extra layer of thrill that the swinging gondolas provide to what would otherwise be a pretty standard Ferris wheel experience, but some of us claim that it's probably the scariest ride in the park, hands down, even above Incredicoaster and Mission Breakout. At either rate, don't forget that the 2 queue lines for Pixar Pal-Around will give you 2 very different experiences. And if you're already iffy when it comes to heights, you're not going to want to board the gondola that swings to make matters even worse. Okay, friends, time to tally up those scores. Once you find out the winner among your group, let me know in the comments who's taking home the gold today so we can give them a giant hip hip hooray. But we've got so much more to talk about with DCA. DCA's future is super bright. That sounds cheesy, but it's very true. During the D23 fan event, which happened this past September, we learned that DCA is about to receive a whole lot of new stuff that'll completely change the way we tackle this park in the future. For instance, a new Avatar area is coming to DCA that'll be a whole different Pandora experience from the one we've already got in Disney's Animal Kingdom. DCA's version will explore all new adventures inspired by Avatar: The Way of Water, Avatar: Fire and Ash, and even more upcoming Avatar films we don't even know about yet. There'll also be a brand new Avatar ride that'll take you on a thrilling excursion all the way to the wide open seas of Pandora. It looks insanely cool. I'm already a fan of Animal Kingdom's Pandora, so I'm excited to see what this land's gonna wow us with next. Then there's Avengers Campus, which is about to double in size thanks to the multiverse. Disney announced 2 new Marvel attractions coming to Avengers Campus at a future date. First, we've got the long-awaited Avengers e-ticket ride, which we've been hearing about since 2019. Now we know that the latest and final version of the attraction will be called Avengers Infinity Defense. And we also know that this ride will have the Avengers, plus you, chasing down King Thanos while hopping between iconic locations like Asgard, Wakanda, New York City, fictional places like that. I'm just kidding. I know Wakanda is real. Along with the e-ticket, a new Iron Man attraction is also coming to the land, and Robert Downey Jr. will be reprising his role as Tony Stark for this one. In Stark Flight Lab, a robot arm will grab your 2-person test pod and start whirling you around in a randomized simulated flight. Living the dream over here, Mr. Stark, living the dream. And finally, the smash hit Pixar film Coco is going to receive a colorful and very musical boat ride in DCA. Not gonna lie, after experiencing Plaza de Coco on the Disney Treasure, I am super excited for this ride. But there's the downside to this. Remember, I'm just the messenger here. There's a good chance we're not gonna see most or any of these new DCA sections go live in 2025. Currently, construction isn't slated to start on the Coco ride till 2026. Even when construction starts up for Pandora, we more than likely won't see it officially open until 2028 or 2029. And as far as the Avengers Campus expansions are concerned, construction will start up in early 2025, which is why the red car trolley will be going away, because Disney will have to remove the barn to make this expansion possible. But whether or not we're going to see one or either of these Marvel attractions sometime in the next year is yet to be determined. I know it's kind of a bummer, but we're crossing our fingers that the wait is going to be well worth it for all of these. The good news about this is that when it comes to your 2025 vacation, things are going to be pretty straightforward. During 2024, we didn't experience any massive attraction transformations that'll derail the way you navigate the parks throughout the new year, which may be great if you're not wanting a curveball or a sudden influx of crowds coming to see all the new stuff. But as we continue to learn about construction status and future opening timelines for these experiences to be, make sure you're subscribed to our free DFB newsletter, and we're going to send you all the latest Disneyland 411 as soon as we hear about it. Now, let's talk Disney California Adventures festivals. Their seasonal festivals continue to impress me year after year after year. And I'm going to tell you how you can master any one of them no matter which you decide to check out in 2025. But first, let's do a little festival recap. DCA hosts 3 festivals each year, which will bring limited time entertainment, merch, and unique food offerings to the park. Lunar New Year is going to ring in 2025 while celebrating Chinese, Vietnamese, and Korean cultures. Food and Wine pops up next during the months of March and April, celebrating California's culinary favorites. And after a bit of a festival dry spell in the summer and early fall, Festival of the Holidays kicks up right before Thanksgiving, celebrating the seasons of Christmas, Navidad, Diwali, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Three Kings Day. All right, now that you are up to date and acquainted with DCA's festivals, here's how you can hack your way through any of them. Hack number 1, purchase a Sip and Savor Pass. During each festival, you're going to have a lot of food booths to choose between, but Disney California Adventure helps you spend less time waiting in lines paying for stuff and more time enjoying the goodies thanks to their Sip and Savor Pass. This is going to give you a commemorative credential, lanyard, and coupons which can be redeemed at the festival foods marketplaces for 1 food item or non-alcoholic beverage each. Each 8 entitlement Sip and Savor Pass is $63, while each 4 entitlement Sip and Savor Pass is $32. Hack number 2, and my favorite one, pay for everything at just 1 booth. Now, whether you get a Sip and Savor Pass or not, you can order and pay for all the festival items that you want to try at one time. Just choose a booth, any booth, preferably the one with the shortest line, and order everything you want once you get up to the front of it, from any booth. The cast member taking your order will print out a receipt of all the items you ordered. Then all you have to do is bring your receipt over to each respective booth and pick up your items without having to wait in the line to pay for every single one of them individually. All right, Epcot, chop chop. I want to see y'all put this amazing hack into action for the East Coasters now too, and I've wanted this for years, and I don't know why it's not happening. Hack number 3, register for events. This is more of a Food and Wine thing, but it's important to remember that Food and Wine really stands out by offering culinary demonstrations led by local and visiting and Disney chefs, as well as wine, beer, and mixology seminars. While many of the culinary demos will be free for you to experience, the tasting seminars will be an extra cost and require advance reservations, which are going to book up quickly once they're released. So once you learn about those festival dates, make sure to look into what classes are going to be available that you might want to book ahead of your trip. Hack number 4, track down more limited time food items. There are more exclusive festival foods than what you can find hanging out at the specific booths. DCA restaurants like Paradise Garden Grill, the San Francisco kiosks, Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta, and several other snack carts and restaurants and quick services too might also feature seasonal festival options on their menus. When we learn about where these additional food locations will be for the upcoming DCA fests, we always list them out on our DFB website. That way, you never have to feel like you're blindly searching for all the limited edition stuff while you're inside the park. We got it for you. Now, here's a very cool thing about Disney California Adventure. There are 2 Disneyland-owned hotels that actually have entrances that will lead you right on into the park. The Pixar Place entrance will spit you out next to Pixar Pier near Corndog Castle, while the Grand Californian will lead you directly into Grizzly Peak. Just keep in mind that you'll still have to have a valid Disney California Adventure ticket and park pass reservation to actually enter through the park using either of these entrances. The Disneyland Hotel may not have a direct entrance into the parks, but you can still walk across the street in like 5 minutes or less and end up at Downtown Disney's security check. So yeah, staying in a Disneyland hotel is going to make your DCA visit super convenient. Just keep in mind that you're going to have to pay a pretty penny for that convenience. Here's the good news though. You don't have to stay in a Disneyland-owned hotel to still be within walking distance to not just DCA, but either of the parks. Several of Disneyland's Good Neighbor hotels are about 10 to 15 minutes away by foot, so you might not be staying directly on Disney property, but you shouldn't have to worry about driving to the parks each day in order to reach it. Disneyland's Good Neighbor hotels are all listed directly on the Disneyland website. Just click on the Places to Stay option and you'll toggle those Good Neighbor hotels. Note though, make sure that before you book a Good Neighbor hotel, you research just how close that walking distance from the parks really is. Some hotels might claim to be within walking distance to Disney, but there's still a major difference between a 10-minute walk and a 20-minute walk, especially towards the end of the night when your feet are already killing you. Let's hit the hot gossip about Lightning Lanes. It's the same question no matter what Disney park you go to in the States. Is Lightning Lane worth the extra cost so that you can bypass the main queues in exchange for much shorter lines throughout your visit? And I know I often say, well, it depends, which can really throw folks for a tizzy, but I'm gonna say it again because in DCA that answer still rings true, perhaps even stronger than before. If you're going to DCA during a slower time of year, like after the winter holidays wrap up, then you might be just fine and dandy without Lightning Lanes because you won't have to worry about the massive crowds or the intense heat. But honestly, if I had to purchase Lightning Lanes for just one West Coast park, Disneyland or DCA, I think I'd have to go with DCA. Unlike Disneyland, most of DCA's rides have Lightning Lane access, aside from the variety in the Paradise Gardens Park that I talked about earlier. And the Lightning Lanes DCA does offer up are all for their A-tier attractions. Or I guess we should call them e-ticket attractions. So you can bypass the main queues for Goofy Sky School, Grizzly River Run, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure. You won't need it here, just a heads up. Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the Rescue, Soarin' Around the World, Toy Story Midway Mania, Web Slingers, A Spider-Man Adventure, and Incredicoaster. Just remember, MultiPass works differently in Disneyland than it does in Disney World, though. So you can only make one Lightning Lane selection at a time upon entering the park instead of pre-selecting 3 before your visit. If I were you, I'd definitely try prioritizing getting Incredicoaster's Lightning Lane first, because that line can get really hot and it's pretty boring too. But after that, Mission Breakout and Web Slingers are good choices to start off with as well. But what about that single pass Lightning Lane for Radiator Springs Racers? Is that worth the additional separate cost per ride per person? Don't hate me, but it depends. Sorry. Well, paying for single pass Lightning Lanes for Radiator Springs Racers can add up really quickly, especially for a family of 4 who might end up having to pay an extra $28 to $72 for that single pass purchase, which can be rather steep for just one ride. Waiting in line for this one is mostly outdoors. On top of it being a pretty lengthy wait most of the time, paying to not have to melt in line for hours on end might absolutely be worth it for you and your family. But you might also be able to come right when the park opens, or 30 minutes before that if you're using that early park admission benefit available for Disney hotel guests, to bypass the bulk of the line without having to pay extra to avoid its lengthy and sweaty afternoon queue. Radiator Springs Racers also has a free single rider queue that you might want to take advantage of instead to help you cut down on your wait time minus the added Lightning Lane expense. But you will have to break up your group for that, which might not be the best approach, especially if you've got younger kids in your party. Speaking of single rider lines, DCA's got a whole bunch of them. Along with Radiator Springs Racers, you can also take advantage of a potentially shorter single rider queue over at Goofy Sky School, Incredicoaster, Grizzly River Run, Web Slingers, and Soarin'. So are Lightning Lanes worth it in DCA? They can be, but if you don't buy them, it's not going to make or break you. Just keep an eye on those wait times via your Disneyland app. Try to plan to wake up earlier in the morning and hit the crowds when they're lighter, and if possible, perhaps avoid visiting on the weekends too, since that's when the locals like to hop over and play. Now, there is a third Lightning Lane option you can always consider that was introduced toward the end of 2024 called Lightning Lane Premier Pass. This inclusive option grants one-time entry to each available Lightning Lane experience in both Disneyland and Disney California Adventure for one price, eliminating the need to monitor Lightning Lane availability and make new Lightning Lane reservations throughout the day. The catch? A, it's pricey, like $300 to $400 per person per day pricey, and B, it has very limited availability. According to the Disneyland website, you want to make sure to book this as soon as you can. However, if you want to try this new service out and you've got the money saved for a hefty expense like this already, then Premier Passes can be purchased up to 2 days before your visit starting at 7 a.m. Pacific time. In our past couple Ultimate Guide videos, I've been talking about our favorite Disney restaurants and sorting them by price. So let's keep that trend going and help you build the perfect DCA dining budget. Okay, for snacks and drinks only, please. These are some of our favorite places. Adorable Snowman Frosted Treats. I know, it's a hot take, but I'll say it anyways. I would pick one of the Adorable Snowman Frosted Treats over a Pineapple Dole Whip any day of the week. The Adorable Snowman Frosted Treats kiosk in Pixar Pier is where you're going to find lemon soft serve, which is some of my favorite, and chili lime mango soft serve too. You can order these soft serves in a standard cone or cup, but what I love doing is getting the lemon one snow-capped with vanilla, or swirling the two mango lemon flavors together, or even getting the extravagant Pixar Pier frozen frosty instead, made with the lemon blue soft swirl and blue raspberry. But I think the snow-capped lemon is my favorite. Heading over to Cozy Cone Motel. Resembling Sally's Motel from Cars, this quick service location will fuel you up with a variety of snacks and beverages served across 5 different cone-shaped kiosks. You can't miss it. Each one's going to offer you something different. Cone 1 hooks you up with churros. Cone 2's got the soft serve ice cream. Cone 3 is my favorite of the bunch, what with their savory bread cone concoctions, basically handwiches. Cone 4 has more chimichangas, a Disneyland classic, and Cone 5 has corn, like popcorn and buttered corn too. Clarabelle's hand-scooped ice cream is the next one in this particular category, and she serves up cold confections over on Buena Vista Street. But our favorite reason to come here is for those customizable hand-dipped ice cream bars, which come with your choice of chocolate coating and topping. Our next category in our dining rankings, I want to keep things affordable and quick. Okay, starting with hot dogs and corn dogs. Has anyone ever noticed how much DCA loves their hot dog locations? Because they've got a bunch of them. If you're on the hunt for those famous hand-battered Disneyland corn dogs that locals and out-of-town guests rave about, Corn Dog Castle has you covered in this park. You can also try a cheddar cheese on a stick, which is basically melty cheese coated in that classic corn dog batter. This is one of my favorite things to get when I'm there. And you can also get a spicy sausage here as well. At Angry Dogs and Pixar Pier, Anger from Inside Out serves up hot dogs, but watch out, he turns up the heat on these little doggies the angrier he gets. So you can choose an angry dog if you want a little kick, or you can choose a slightly annoyed dog if you're more spice averse. And then there's Award Wieners down in Hollywoodland, which serves up a surprising variety of street-style dogs, like Bacon Street Dog and an Uptown Chili Dog. They even include plant-based hot dog options, too. Be on the lookout, though, because Award Wieners likes to come up with a lot of fun hot dog twists with limited-time seasonal offerings that might make your experience here even better than you could have imagined. Plus, their twisty fries here are some of our favorites. They call them film strip fries, but I call them twisty fries. Over at Flo's V8 Cafe, this is the main eatery at Cars Land with a menu inspired by all the mom and pop diners along Route 66. And you know what? This is a very cool place. Flo's resembles a giant air filter at the roadside stop in Carburetor County, and she's got a dining room that showcases a lot of artifacts from the legendary race car driver Doc Hudson, as well as a lot of Flo's personal memorabilia harkening back to her glamorous career days as a singer with the Motorama Girls. You go, Flo. So what's on the menu? Comfort food and hand-spun shakes to give you that really authentic Route 66 experience. Heading over to Avengers Campus, we're gonna hit the Pym Test Kitchen. This is an eatery inspired by Ant-Man and the Wasp, featuring a variety of food and snacks that shrink and grow thanks to the Pym particles at play. So already, you know this is gonna be quite the dining and snacking experience. This one's a good novelty pit spot for the whole family, especially if the Choco Smash candy bar is available during your visit, because that's my very, very, very favorite, so please invite me to eat it with you. Don't let the Palace and Shawarma Palace fool you. This is just a little food cart located at Avengers Campus, but it has some impressive shawarma-inspired options on the menu that are royally delicious, I guess. So maybe it's okay to be named after a palace. I don't know. I still don't get it, but it's really good. You can find the New York's Tastiest, made with chicken shawarma wrap, garlic spread, and coconut yogurt tahini sauce with pickled vegetables, as well as the Impossible Victory Falafel and the Impossible Breakfast Shawarma, made with plant-based breakfast sausage and egg omelet wrap with dairy-free American cheese and crispy potato bites, served with a side of spiced maple syrup. Lots going on there. Heading over to Grizzly Peak, we're going to hit Smoke Jumpers Grill next. Now, this is your huge counter service location. Well, one of your kind of 2 huge counter service locations in DCA. It's got a whole lot of seating indoors and outdoors and features pilot classics on the menu. So think burgers, chicken sandwiches, tenders, and the like. We often stop by to check out their seasonal offerings too, which more often than not are usually over-the-top specialty shakes. We're headed to Pixar Pier for Poultry Palace. This little kiosk earns the Palace title just a bit more, but mostly because it's shaped like a giant fun meal box with a night chicken on one side, inspired by Pixar's short Toy Story tune, Small Fry. This is where you can find those infamous jumbo turkey legs, or you can get a chicken drumstick box served with a side of slaw. Or you could abandon the chicken root altogether and grab yourself a chimichanga here instead. I just love the theming of this place. It is just incredible. Moving over to San Francisco, there are a ton of different food locations you can swing by while you're exploring the Big Hero 6 themed area. But our favorite spot of the bunch for this particular category is Aunt Cass's Cafe. Along with dishes inspired by Japanese cuisine like the soba noodle salad and Japanese style fluffy cheesecake, this bakery continues to serve individual Boudin sourdough loaves, rounds, and baguettes. Or you can have some of that curry beef, mac and cheese, and San Francisco clam chowder served in a bread bowl too. Speaking of Boudin bread, don't forget to check out the bakery tour next door while you're in the area. During this tour, you can walk through a working replica of the famous bakery in San Francisco and try a free sample of freshly baked bread while you're at it. Our next category is the I don't mind splurging if it means getting a nice cocktail with my meal category. And in this one, we're going to start with Carthay Circle and Carthay Circle Lounge. Carthay Circle is located right off Buena Vista Street and themed after the former theater where Disney's first ever animated film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs originally premiered. The dining room itself is pretty pricey, with a prix-fixe menu for lunch starting at $59 per adult and an a la carte menu for dinner with entrees ranging between $48 and $70. But you can get a much cheaper Carthay Circle experience by booking the lounge and enjoying that al fresco dining that instead offers small plates ranging between $16 and $26. And of course, whether you're in the dining room or out on the porch, you'll want to try one of Carthay Circle's signature cocktails to complement your meal, many of which are inspired by the golden age of Hollywood. Now, Lamplight Lounge pays tribute not only to the films of Pixar, but also the artists of Pixar Studio who bring these stories to life. The lounge bites here can be rather hit or miss, not including the lobster nachos, which always seems to be a hit with the DFB team, but the cocktails tend to hold their own, making this spot worth at least 1 or 2 visits, if not more. I can highly recommend the potato skins here too. I love them. And don't forget to ask about those specialty secret drinks. Not all of Lamplight Lounge's cocktails are directly listed on their menu. Some off-menu cocktails have come in along with the switch over from Cove Bar, and we're so glad that they have. Some that you can try are the Fun Wheel. This is a twist on your everyday Long Island, because remember when they used to call it Mickey's Fun Wheel over there. The Neverland Tea, the Zombie, the Melrose Place, and the Sea Witch. Now, Wine Country Trattoria's menu is inspired by Napa Valley, so needless to say, there's lots of wine to choose from here. One of the most charming places to sit at this table service location is under the beautiful curved pergola, though the inside of the restaurant offers lots of rustic touches, tile flooring, murals, and air conditioning. Oh, and by the way, when you're hopping aboard the Disney California Adventure cocktail train, please remember to stay hydrated. And I don't mean order more cocktails. I mean get yourself some water, my friends, because you're going to need it to help keep you going the rest of the day. Okay, we've made it to the Halloween season. This is a big deal in Disney California Adventure. DCA's Oogie Boogie Bash is an after-hours event that I haven't ever walked away from going, man, I wish there was more going on during this event, because Oogie Boogie will pack out your evening and make you wish you could party all night long. This is a limited capacity, separately ticketed event that happens on select nights starting toward the end of August, beginning of September, and running up until Halloween. In 2025, it begins in August. During the event, you'll be able to experience exclusive Halloween entertainment and activities like the Frightfully Fun Parade, treat trails, and the rarest character appearances from some of the most dastardly Disney villains out there. While Magic Kingdom's after-hours Halloween party might have the upper hand when it comes to their castle shows and more expansive snack offerings, DCA makes up for that with these rare characters, as well as their Villains Grove walkthrough experience. Villains Grove takes place inside the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail and transforms this area into an immersive walkthrough inspired by the Disney villains. I don't know how to explain how cool this is. It is absolutely unbelievable. Now, if you're someone who's interested in haunted mazes, but you really can't get behind all the jump scares and gore, Villains Grove is a great alternative to that. The entire walkthrough is 100% family friendly, but still manages to use light and music in a way that keeps things super eerie and in the spirit of the season. Sometimes you don't know if your eyes are playing tricks on you. So here's the thing. Oogie Boogie Bash tickets sell out really quickly, but the good news is they're not impossible to snag. You just have to be proactive about it. Whenever you know these event tickets are going to go live on the Disneyland website, make sure to set aside some time to get online and secure your Oogie Boogie Bash spot. Typically, we learn about when these Oogie Boogie tickets will start going on sale during or around halfway to Halloween, so around May or June. So once we catch word about when those tickets will be live for 2025, we'll make sure to let you know ASAP so you can mark it on your calendars. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter though. That's where we're going to put it first. The link to sign up is right in the description. So Disney California Adventure has come a long way since it first opened back in 2001, and we are so excited to see it keep on expanding and improving beyond 2025. In the meantime, make sure to keep checking back here for future updates. Subscribe to our DFB newsletter, like I said, for even faster updates sent straight to your email. Subscribe to this channel because we're going to be talking about it more and more and more. And don't forget to put your score down in the comments from the game we played earlier because I am ready to give the winner a big old hip hip hooray. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.